Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that will make you question your family. Story 1. Sister sabotages my exam alarms after I help her study. So my sister just sabotaged my chances at passing my major exams by turning off all my alarms. I'm 17 and sitting the most important exams of my life this year. My sister who's a year younger is also doing exams, but hers aren't as crucial. Now here's the thing, she constantly needs help with her studies. I'm talking hours and hours of my time explaining concepts, calling my friends when she needs help with subjects I don't know well, basically being her personal tutor. And I don't mind doing it because she's my sister, right? All I ask for in return is one simple thing. Can you wake me up at whatever time so I can study? That's literally it. Just wake me up. But does she do it? Of course not. She'll say yes when I ask her, but then when morning comes, she just leaves me sleeping. I've missed so many study sessions because of this. But yesterday was the absolute worst. I had set multiple alarms on my phone because I had a massive study session planned. I'm talking like 6 different alarms to make sure I'd wake up. I even told her the night before that I really needed to get up early because I was behind on this particular subject. Well, I wake up naturally around noon and realize something's off. I check my phone and every single one of my alarms had been switched off. Not snoozed, not ignored, completely turned off. I confronted her about it and she just shrugged and said she thought I needed more sleep. Are you kidding me? I exploded and called her a saboteur. I told her she was deliberately trying to mess up my chances because she's jealous that my exams are more important than hers. She started crying and said she was just trying to help me get rest. But here's what really gets me, I help her constantly with her studies. I sacrifice my own time to make sure she understands everything, and she can't even do this one tiny favor for me. My parents heard the argument and said I was being too harsh, that she made a mistake. But this wasn't a mistake. You don't accidentally turn off 6 separate alarms. She had to go through each one individually and switch them off. That takes deliberate action. Now I'm even further behind in my studies because I lost that entire morning, and my sister is acting like the victim. My parents are treating me like I'm the bad guy for calling out her behavior. But I'm starting to wonder if there's something deeper going on here. Maybe she really is trying to sabotage me because she doesn't want me to do better than her. Am I being paranoid, or is this as messed up as I think it is? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. Mom won't stop stalking my bank account at 18. So I just turned 18 and my mom is basically stalking my bank account like I'm some kind of financial criminal. A few months ago when I hit 18, I decided it was time to open my own bank account. You know, be an adult and all that. Since I had absolutely no clue what I was doing, my mom helped me set everything up. At the time, it seemed totally normal that she'd have access to help me figure things out. I mean, she was being helpful, right? Wrong. Now she's using that access to monitor every single penny I spend, and then interrogating me about it later. If I order food because I'm hungry and don't have time to cook, she'll bring it up the next day. You're wasting money on takeout again. If I buy clothes because, I don't know, I need clothes, she'll lecture me about being frivolous. Do you really need another shirt? It's like having a financial parole officer who happens to be my mother. The worst part is how she brings it up. She'll casually mention my purchases in conversation like she's caught me doing something wrong. Last week I bought coffee with friends, and she made this comment about how I'm spending too much on unnecessary things. It was $4. $4 for coffee with my friends, and she's acting like I blew my life savings at a casino. I finally had enough and told her I wanted to remove her access from my account. You'd think I told her I was moving to Mars. She completely lost it, saying she helped me open the account so she deserves to keep access. She's throwing around words like ungrateful and irresponsible. She keeps saying she's just trying to help me learn to manage money, but this isn't teaching, this is controlling. I have a job, I pay for my own stuff, and I'm not asking her for money. The purchases she's complaining about are coming from money I earned. But she's acting like because she helped me fill out some paperwork, she now owns the right to scrutinize every financial decision I make for the rest of my life. My friends think she's being way too controlling, but some family members are saying I should appreciate her guidance since I'm still young. But here's the thing, I'm not blowing money on crazy stuff. I'm buying food, clothes, and occasionally treating myself to coffee. You know, normal human things that cost money. How am I supposed to learn to manage money independently if she's constantly looking over my shoulder and criticizing every decision? Is this normal parental concern, or is she being way too controlling for someone who's legally an adult? Story 3. Boyfriend's mate almost got me killed instead of fixing my car. So my boyfriend's mate almost got me killed because he kept promising to fix my brakes but never actually did it. I'm 26 and at university in the UK, and my car is pretty old, but it gets me where I need to go. A few weeks ago, it started making this horrible screeching noise every time I hit the brakes. Like, horror movie level screeching that made everyone on the street turn and stare. I knew this wasn't good, so I started looking into getting it fixed. When I mentioned it to my boyfriend, he immediately said his mate works on cars and would take a look at it for cheap, maybe even free. Since money's super tight with uni and my part-time job barely covering expenses, I thought this sounded perfect. That was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks of this noise getting progressively worse, and the brakes starting to feel less and less responsive. I'm talking about having to press the pedal nearly to the floor just to slow down. But every time I brought it up, my boyfriend would say his mate was busy but would definitely get to it soon. Meanwhile, I'm driving to campus and work every day in what's basically a death trap on wheels. The breaking point came when I was driving down a hill and had to slam on the brakes because someone pulled out in front of me. The car barely stopped in time, and I realized this wasn't just an annoying noise anymore, this was genuinely dangerous. I was terrified I was going to hurt myself or someone else. So I called a proper mechanic, explained the situation, and they told me to stop driving immediately and bring it in. Turns out my brake pads were completely worn down and the rotors were damaged. The mechanic said I was lucky I hadn't crashed because there was basically nothing left. The repair cost £400, which completely wiped out my savings, but at least I wasn't going to die on my way to class. When I told my boyfriend what happened, he got angry at me for not waiting longer for his mate. He said I was impatient and wasted money when his friend would have done it for much less. I pointed out that his mate had 2 weeks and never even looked at the car, let alone actually worked on it. My boyfriend said his friend was just busy and I should have been more understanding. But here's what really gets me, this wasn't about saving money on an oil change. This was about brakes that were literally failing while I was driving. Every day I waited was another day I could have gotten into a serious accident. Am I crazy for thinking that some things can't wait indefinitely, especially when it comes to safety? Story 4. Cut off family money after they made me their personal ATM. So I finally got a stable income and my family immediately turned me into their personal ATM, but now they're furious that I cut them off. I grew up in a family where money was always a huge problem. Since I was young, I felt this pressure to help out even when I barely had anything myself. It was just this unspoken expectation that if you had any money at all, you'd share it with everyone else. When I finally landed a stable job with decent pay, I was actually excited to help my family. At first, it felt really good. I'd pay some bills here and there, buy groceries when they needed them, and give extra money when I could afford it. I thought I was being a good family member, you know. But somewhere along the way, everything changed. What started as me offering to help became this expectation that I would always help. They stopped asking and started telling me what they needed money for. It went from, could you possibly help with the electric bill, to, the electric bill is due on Friday, with the clear implication that I'd be covering it. The worst part is how they react when I say no to anything. If I decline even once, suddenly I'm selfish and forgetting where I came from. They'll say things like, "We helped you when you had nothing," or "Family is supposed to stick together." They make me feel guilty for wanting to keep some of my own money that I work 40 hours a week to earn. It's gotten to the point where they'll make comments about my spending if I buy anything for myself. I bought a new laptop because mine was literally falling apart, and I got lectures about how I'm wasting money on fancy things while they're struggling. But somehow it's perfectly fine for them to expect me to cover their cable bill or car payments. I finally reached my breaking point last month when they asked me to cover rent for my adult sibling who just didn't feel like working that month. Not couldn't work because of illness or emergency, just didn't want to. When I said no, the whole family ganged up on me about being heartless and abandoning family. That's when I realized this had gone way too far. I told them I wouldn't be giving any more financial help, and they could figure out their own money problems like adults. Now they're acting like I've committed some terrible crime. They're not speaking to me, and when they do, it's to tell me how disappointed they are in who I've become. But here's the thing, I've been working my butt off to build a stable life, and they want me to just hand it all over because we share DNA. Is it wrong that I want to actually enjoy the money I earn instead of just being a backup plan for everyone else's poor financial decisions? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.